Are you a military veteran, or are you serving in the military at this current time and maybe PCS is upon you and you may be looking at the Las Vegas, Nevada area? Well, in this particular video, we're going to talk to you in regards to moving here to the Las Vegas area and possibly purchasing here and the new big changes that have occurred with our Veterans Affair since the NAR settlement occurred back in August, and all the different changes that vets want to be concerned with. Actually, it happened more in June of this year, and then now on August 17th there's been some big changes as well with what's happening with our MLSs and NAR, National Association of Realtors. In this video we're talking about that. So as we like to say on our channel, let the show begin, because we're getting after it right now. If this is your first time to our channel and you would like to know everything there is to know in regards to making your move here to the Las Vegas area, or even moving out of the Las Vegas area, especially for our military vets and our active military in that regard, make sure you subscribe below, tap that bell for notifications so that we can keep you up to regards and keep you up to par in regards to all the changes and everything that's happening with the settlement and everything that is happening as far as the VA making changes. So the first thing we'll do in this video is let you know sort of the old way of how things were operating when it came to real estate and how our veterans were working with us as real estate agents and all that kind of great stuff. By the way, guys, my apologies. My name is Levert Pompey Benefield. I'm a team leader here in the Las Vegas Valley, Henderson, North Las Vegas area. I help great people like yourself make their moves, make their smooth moves here. If you have a PCS happening, bringing you out to this area, we'd love the opportunity to be able to be of assistance to you. Or if you're moving out of the Las Vegas area and you need to be reassigned somewhere else, please let us know. We'd love to help you in regards to selling that property and help you as far as where you may be PCS'd. So with that being said, in today's video, like I was just about to say, we're going to take you guys through the old way that we used to do it in regards to working with our veterans and what VA sort of told us what we could do, couldn't do with our vets, and now the new temporary change that is happening in regards to what the VA has done. They've really stepped up and they've made some changes that I believe that helps our vets really make sure they can stay competitive in today's market. So again, like I said, my name is Levert. My brother served in the military. He is no longer with us at this particular time. Big supporter, big lover of my brother, my big bro, and definitely anyone in the military. We were a military family in the sense of my brother going to two of our wars here in the United States and everything that he went through. And I definitely appreciate the things that the military did for him, and I want to make sure that we're taking care of our vets, so people like yourselves, in regards to you making your moves, making your transitions. If you're being, like I said, PCS somewhere else, let us know that, especially here in the Las Vegas area. So with that, guys, old way. The old way of doing things is when it came to the VA, there were certain things that we as real estate agents could not charge. I'm going to read the old sort of statement that VA had on their website. It'll be somewhere here in our video as well. This is the old statement in regards to brokerage fees. So just so most people understand, I'm a real estate agent. I'm also a team leader. I'm a team leader of real estate agents. However, I met a broker. Here on the West Coast, our broker, we're going to sort of kind of look at it in sort of different terms. Our broker is the person that oversees the brokerage. They are the person that may own that particular brokerage. They are the ones that has managers, assistant managers, receptionists, all that kind of good stuff, and agents underneath their brokerage. Here on the West Coast, we refer to agents as agents, meaning the realtors that go out there and we help people sell their properties or help people buy their properties. We are the real estate agents. We're the agents. We're the realtors. That's how we call ourselves here. On the East Coast, agents, it is interchangeable. The word broker and agent, they interchange that. It just depends on where you are. You can call us different names. Don't call us those names, but there are some names that people will call us: real estate agents, realtors, realtor, however you pronounce it. We're real estate agents here on the West Coast. East Coast, they may say broker, they may say real estate agent. But again, the broker is the one that basically would charge the fee or have a fee paid to them. It is never a fee that is paid to the agent. The agent is basically representing the brokerage when they go out and do their own business. The fees are paid to that broker. The broker has a particular split with the agent. That split is divvied up with the agent, and then we get a portion of that fee that was charged. So everyone says, oh, well, the agents get paid so much. Agents aren't being paid directly. Our broker is paid, and then we're paid based upon our split from our broker. So I hope that gives you just a little clarity. May have confused you more. If so, reach out to me. I'll definitely help out in that explanation. So again, guys, when we did the old way, the VA basically had us performing and working with our veterans. Broker fees. Fees or commissions charged by a real estate agent or broker in connection with a VA loan may not be charged to or paid by the veteran purchaser. That means any of my clients that I had represented in the past that came in as a VA that has certain entitlements, whatever that meant, or a certain amount of entitlements, we could not, my broker could not, I could not, whatever it may be, we could not charge that brokerage fee to them. There's even things like a pest inspection that we could not charge to our veterans. There were certain things that the VAs definitely protected and watched over and looked after for our VAs. So there were certain fees we couldn't pay. So usually anywhere from whatever it may be, 1%, 2%, 2.5%, 3%. It's never set. The fee is never set. A brokerage fee is never set. Even though a lot of people think it is, somehow was set out there, it has never been set. It was always a negotiable thing. But that fee that our broker would get paid from the seller's agent or from the seller and the seller's brokerage, that broker or that seller would pay our broker a certain fee. Again, that fee could be that 1%, 2%, 2.5%, 3%. Now, that was the old way. Our VAs, people we represented, if I was a buyer's agent, I'm representing my VA buyer, there were certain fees we could not charge them. So that's to get that clear, the old way. In the new way that has happened now since June, VA has really stepped up. They have basically, with their thinking and with our thinking as agents, we're like, listen, in this new way, since this settlement, since this lawsuit has happened with the Department of Justice and the National Association of Real Estate Agents that represents us brokerages and brokers and agents, with that new lawsuit, that lawsuit basically says really two things. That a buyer cannot go out and see a property, or an agent can't show a client a property without them sign a BBA, a buyer broker agreement. That buyer broker agreement had to basically tell them what expectations they should be expecting in regards to services, and it had to be transparent in regards to how much that brokerage would charge that client. Now, with VA having this old law of VAs not being able to pay any fees, that set them up for a huge disadvantage. Them being our great VA clients, them being our military, our veterans, our retired military, all those folks were then put at a disadvantage with this new settlement, or these new terms in regards to this settlement was concerned with. That now buyers had to pay for their own broker or their own agent. They had to pay now. Buyers had to do it. And since the VA buyers had this rule from VA that says you can't charge them any fee, who was going to work for our VA vets for free? It put us in a position where it was asking us as agents to almost work for our, what do you want us to work for our clients for free now? That's crazy. We can't come in. We need to feed family. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of family, communities, and everything else, just as much as we have the dignity and the love of helping our clients at our VA. We also believe it's quite fair for us to assume we would be paid for those services. So VA had to take some time and get that together, and they stepped up. Like I said, they made those changes. It is a temporary change. It is not locked in, and it is a temporary change as of right now. But this temporary change does now allow agents or our clients that are VA serving military members right now to be able to come in and pay for their agents, pay for their broker. They can now do that. So they've lifted that in their terminology. And again, this is temporary. So that is the new way of doing it. So this new way of doing it is now when you come and you work with when you work with an agent, when you work with a broker, whatever the term is for that area, You now, as a military person, as a military veteran, you now have the right and the ability to pay for those services that your brokerage agent is going to charge you. And again, in that buyer-broker agreement, those fees need to be transparent, and you need to know the expectation of what those fees will be on that buyer-broker that you sign. So I hope that makes some sense in regards to these new rules. Again, the old way, those are gone. Those are changed. So when you're checking in with your friends that happen to be in the military, happen to be retired, whatever that may be, please remember this is a new rule that has changed as of August the 17th is when it started kicking in here. It actually changed around July 31st was when some of these rules happened for us here in the Las Vegas area. But these new rules started up. So again, if you go back and you ask a friend that bought their house 2 years ago, even a year ago, and they're going to be like, well, what? We didn't have to pay any kind of fees. That's crazy. Please double check it. This is a new rule that has started this year, 2024, and the VA just changed their rule temporarily to allow the VA, to allow veterans, to allow active military to pay for their agents, to pay for their broker. So in that regard, when they're paying for their agent, paying for their broker, you should maybe have an expectation, whatever that agent charges, they should be doing a consultation with you. That's the biggest thing you want to make sure you're looking for. Are they doing a consultation with you? And have they explained these fees? You should have an understanding of what they will be charging you if you're buying a particular home at a particular price. They may, let's say for instance, if for whatever reason, we're just throwing out this flat number, if it's 2%, whatever it may be, if they charge 2%, they have to, I would say, suggest them give you a net sheet that shows that amount. If you buy this property at $400,000, if you buy this property at $1.2 million, if you buy this property at $2 million, whatever that number is, this is my net sheet that shows you how much your expectation will be if my fee happens to be 2%. Whatever your agent's fee, they will let you know that. Their BBA should be transparent. They may, in some cases, show you different BBAs because the other rule states, the other rule that is now new, is the selling side. The selling side, the people that are selling their homes. If they're deciding to sell their homes, that client has a right to decide if they are going to co-op or pay a buyer's agent to bring the client to their property, or pay that brokerage a certain amount, whatever that may be. The seller has a right to now determine if they're going to cooperate at all. We cannot show that information on our MLS. So again, it will not be seen. Whatever that amount the seller is willing to pay cannot be displayed anywhere on local MLSs. That is the second thing that is charged. Number one, we can't show properties unless we get our clients to sign that BBA. That BBA has to be transparent. It has to tell you what the expectation of fees and services are. And I suggest as well, have something with a time frame on that BBA. Make sure you're going to understand, is this a one-time BBA to show me this one property? Is this a BBA that's going to work for 3 months? Is this a BBA for whatever reason, maybe 6 months? If you have to take a little bit longer before you make your move and you know you want to work with a particular person, that agent may ask you to sign a BBA, a buyer-broker agreement for 6 months, depending on your scenario. It may be 9 months, depending on when you need to move. But it could be a one-day thing, it could be a one-property thing, it could be a 3-month thing, it could be a 6-month thing, whatever it may be, whatever you're comfortable with, you can work that out with your agent. So now, going back to clarify a little bit more on the selling side. If I am the buyer's agent, I'm representing my client who is a veteran, who is an active military person. We go and look at a property. When we look at that property, of course, we're going to determine if that seller financing consideration does allow them to allow us to come in as a veteran using a VA. We'd have to clarify that. We'll also have to clarify if that seller is willing to co-op with this, if they're willing to offer a certain amount. Because if you, again, with that example we used earlier, your agent charged you 2%. Again, I'm only using an example. That 2% is probably, it is not written in stone. Everybody is going to be different. Every agent is going to be different. I would think it should be more like a 2.5%, 3%, but again, every agent is going to be different. So I'm working with I'm the buyer, working with my client. That seller says they're willing to contribute, let's say 1%. If that seller is willing to contribute 1%, now only thing we have to do between myself and my buyer on that particular house is say, listen, Mr. Client, my Mr. VA client, Mr. and Mrs. VA client, whomever it may be, we can get 1% from the seller. They're willing to do that, yet you then would have to cover the difference. Or we can just simply write our offer and say, well, we would still like to get 2%. We can still write that in our offer. Now, you have to talk with your agent, depending upon so many things that are happening with that particular home, that circumstance. Are there multiple offers on there? You're going to determine what kind of terms you want to write in your offer with your agent. So all of that really needs to be thought out. What kind of term do we want to make sure that we're writing so that we're in the best light to be able to get this particular home? What terms are we comfortable with? What terms is this client, this seller looking for? Whatever that may be. So again, your agent that you choose is very, very important. You want to make sure they understand how to work with VA loans. You want to make sure they have worked with VA loans before. You want to make sure they understand entitlement. You want to make sure they understand secondary tiers of entitlement. All of those different types of things that are out there so that you can get the best terms in regards to someone representing you. And again, even though they may write something on that one-time buyer broker, depending on the conversation that you have with your agent, that term or that particular sheet could change for another property depending upon what the seller is willing to offer. One seller may be willing to offer 1%. Another seller may be willing to offer 2.5%. So there's going to be so many different terms that are out there that have always, I believe, always been negotiable, but even more so in our current market right now because of the new changes and because of the adaptation that VA has made in regards to their old rules, where before VAs could not pay for a lot of different fees. Now those fees, VA has lifted it and they're making it temporarily available for us to be able to have our clients pay for broker, agent fees, all those different types of things. Now, again, sitting down with your agent, doing that consultation, you'll understand when these fees are due. I would think these should not be upfront fees. I, as an agent, would charge these fees, and I would think that you should explain it to your client that these fees should be due upon the close or when you're closing on the property. So again, if you have to pay 2%, 2.5%, 3% to work with that particular agent, you should be getting some kind of sheet that tells you what that amount is based upon the home that you're looking at, based upon the terms that have been negotiated between the seller and yourself, and so forth and so on. All of that should be on that net sheet. And then when you're about to close on the home, that's when most of those big fees are going to be expected. You should be not paying a 2.5% upfront in order to work with the client or work with the agent or anything like that. That is how we will be doing ours. That's the expectation I would think you should have at this particular time. Again, that 2%, 2.5%, 3%, whatever it is that your agent, whatever it is your broker basically states on their BBA, that fee again should be more towards the end of the transaction. So with that, guys, again, I hope this makes sense. There's a lot going out there. Please make sure you reach out. Anyone here moving to the Las Vegas area, we know that we have Creech. We know that we have a couple of facilities here, a couple of our stationed out this way. So let us know if you're coming to Nellis, if you're coming to Creech, whatever it may be. If you're moving from Nellis, if you're moving from Creech here in the Las Vegas area, let us know. We'd love to be of assistance. Again, we have helped many of our clients here that are in the military, doing your PCSs, making your moves, whatever that may be. Let us know. We'd love to be of service. And with that, guys, we will see you in the next video. Take care.